Hey everyone, I'm Steph,
And I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are talking contemporary romance and covering Bad for Business by Kat Singleton.
So let's start with why we selected Bad for Business. We were extremely intrigued by the very small scenes we got with Camille and Ryker from In Good Company, so we knew this book was immediately going to go on our TBR list. And plus, pretty much everything that Kat Singleton writes now goes on the TBR. Her books
Yeah.
are fun to read, impossible to put down. Plus, you never know what kind of interesting situations the characters will end up in.
Yes, certainly true in this case as well. And here are a few things that you should know about the author Kat Singleton. So, first of all, she's a USA Today bestselling author, most known for writing Black Ties and White Lies. Add that to your TBR as well. And then her books feature tons of banter, lots of spice, and some emotional turmoil. She does live in Kansas with her husband, two kids, and two doodles, which I can relate to. I have two doodles as well.
So, before jumping into this book, a couple of key reminders. This episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening that you have actually read this book. You have been warned. And this book has a small number of, at least for us, trigger
Yeah.
warnings that are going to include anxiety, death, and emotional abuse.
Yeah. But it's good to have those warnings because you just never know what's going to come up. I personally did have to stop a couple times because of the death one because I recently had a death in the family, so it just kind of triggered me a little bit and I was like, okay, I'm aware of it. Moving forward, I'm good. So, just always good to have those out there. But now let's talk tropes because that is what we are here for. And the spicy scenes. Haha. So first, we have forced proximity. Riker accidentally let a major business slip to an undercover reporter who just happened to film it. So naughty, honestly. I'm just like, as somebody whose like husband is in the PR world, I'm like, that just is such a shitty thing to do, that reporter. Like, it pissed me off. Pissed off his board as well, because now they're questioning his ability to take over the company from his dad. So now here comes Von PR has to be hired to clean up this mess in a crisis comm situation. And the solution they come up with is Camille. She gets to spend the entire summer babysitting Riker in the Hamptons. And I'm like, well, I mean, it could be worse. Like, you're in the Hamptons, honey. It's not that bad.
With Riker, that sounds good to
With
me.
Riker. Sounds good. Sign me up. Then we have the one night stand, which did not see that coming after reading the previous book. So we find out that Camille and Riker used to have a relationship ish. They had an incredible one night stand on New Year's Eve, literally a few months prior. And both of them were hoping for more. And unfortunately, Camille thought Riker had left her the next morning, when in reality, he went out and got breakfast, and he had left a note and assumed that Camille would be there when he came back to his apartment, and she was gone. She never found the note. And that later comes up. And they're both like, oh, whoops, that was a missed connection.
Also,
Then,
isn't it weird that she thought he left her in his apartment?
yeah, right? Like, why would he leave? Why would you just hang out? Just
Like he
see,
has to come back, right?
yeah. But then she's like, I don't want to be that stalker chick, like clinger number
I
5.
mean,
And I'm like, okay, I get it.
touche.
But still, I'm like, why wouldn't you wait for an explanation or something? Like, or look for a note. She didn't even look. I
I
don't
would
know.
just wait to make it awkward.
I would. I totally would. I was that person. I'd be like, where you been, buddy? And he's like, I thought you should have left by now. Thank God I'm no longer single, because holy crap, I would not last in this world. Anyway, now we have workplace romance. So Riker now is technically Camille's client, which definitely makes this a workplace situation. Even though the setting's in the Hamptons, he is still her client, and there is a strict no, do not fraternize with the client, and definitely don't sleep with them. Then also we have forbidden love. Because of this workplace situation, of course, everything is pretty much like forbidden between Camille and Riker. But it's also because her father has put in this extreme rule that is literally saying, like, first place of business is you do not sleep with the client. And he gets really pissed off when he finds out that that happened and the two of them were together. Then lastly, we have billionaire romance. Riker's family owns a billion-dollar media empire that he will soon take over, hence why he needs the help of Von PR to basically make his records squeaky clean, and the board wants him to come back on.
All right. In terms of drama, there's a lot going on in this book, like there are in every single Kat Singleton books. We start out with Camille on a date that isn't horrible for once.
Good for
So
you.
I was like, good for you. And then her dad calls with an emergency that requires her to head to the office immediately. One of the things I loved about this was like, she doesn't even feel the need to really like explain in detail or like be like, hey, can we have dinner again? Like, if it was going good, wouldn't you try and like go out with this guy again?
So I legitimately have an emergency. This isn't like an escape phone call, like I would love to see, like I would love to catch up later, like here's my number or something like that.
That's what I thought too. But I think the problem is like this is her dad and this is like a regular occurrence. So like even taking like 2 minutes to explain something to him apparently is a problem for her. So
Yeah.
I just got the sense like if her dad says jump, Camille's like, how high? And would you like what else would you like for me to do? So
Can I do jumping jacks while I jump?
exactly.
Yeah.
In heels.
And yes.
So what's the big emergency? So Riker, as we know, is this heir to the billion-dollar entertainment company, and he was bragging on video about acquiring a major TV network 6 months before the deal was supposed to happen. And so the board is questioning whether or not he's the right person to take over. And I get that, but like that also doesn't seem like that big of a deal in today's world,
Yeah. It's
right?
like sure there's probably some NDAs, but like
I mean, the
is that
SEC
really
may
gonna
not like
change
it,
anything? Yeah, they won't like it. They won't like it at all. They'll be really pissed about it.
but I mean,
But
it is
like,
what
are they
it is.
already a public company? So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's where you get into the nitty gritty.
So that's why, like as Megan mentioned, his dad hired volunteer, and then Troy, who is Camille's father, and Camille are going to help rehab Riker's image. I mean, like the only wrinkle, just slight, is that Camille and Riker had this one night stand, and this is the first time they've seen each other since the night. So like all I thought was like them walking in, like
You know,
Camille
being
walking in,
like,
and being like, control your face,
mhm.
pretend like this is normal. It's fine. And then we also learn, right? Because they both have different versions of that night. They both thought the sex was great. They both thought there was potentially more there.
Wait,
But then
that's great.
great. But then they also thought each other left them. So,
Yeah,
not great.
yeah. So while Troy seems to trust Camille with fixing problems, he has already devised a plan on how to handle the situation without her input, which is kind of rude. He expects Camille to spend the entire summer with Riker in the Hamptons to help him rehab his image and prove he's ready to take over the business from his father. And yeah, basically, she is going to be his PR babysitter, and she is less than thrilled by this assignment. And he also isn't loving it because, I mean, what grown man wants somebody following him around all the time, being like, don't do that, don't do this, say that. It's like, even if she's drop dead gorgeous, that could still get annoying pretty quickly, I'm sure. And even on her end, having to like tell somebody, like, do this, do that. She's like, I don't want to be his mom. No, I already fucked him. I can't be his mom. That's weird.
Right.
No. And then Camille attempts to talk to her dad out of this plan, and he makes it clear that no, you're going to do this and you're going to do it right, especially if you ever want any chance at becoming a partner in the firm, which Camille is very desperate for her daddy's approval and wants to become a partner in the family PR firm. So she's like, fine, I'll do it, but you got to promise me that if I make this happen, like, I'm going to get to be partner. And he's like, yeah, sure. In reality, he's a major asshole, and he's definitely not going to follow through on that. And there's just no other way to describe him. He's just a dick. He's basically like the dad from Succession, you know? He's just like, okay, sure, you do that. I'll give you what you want. Not going to
No.
happen. So he literally likes just dangle this little like carrot of approval and like promotion in her face, even though she's probably never going to get it. So then once Camille and her dad are alone, like out of this like meeting, basically, she tries to voice her concerns again about this being an extreme response to the situation. She's like, I don't think it was that bad. I think it's gonna be fine. But her dad claims like the situation honestly makes Riker look weak, which is very problematic for a future CEO of a billion-dollar company. Not wrong.
The next day, Camille and Riker head to the Hamptons via private plane because why else wouldn't you travel via private? And she is right? And she's already annoyed with him, insisting on two rules for the summer. First, he must listen to everything that she says and not ask questions about it. That is also a great role to have as a mom. My kids do have a lot of questions. Second, he can never bring up their one night stand. And like, I just want to point out, technically, Riker never agrees to these rules. And that's why I think he thoroughly enjoys poking the bear or Camille
Yes.
a lot
Yes.
in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. He's like
So,
constantly like when she brings it up, he's like, I never agreed to that. I never agreed to these rules.
no,
Sorry.
she should get contracts in writing.
I know.
So he's hoping like he'll just lie low for a couple of weeks and then his dad will back off the requirement of having a babysitter for the summer. And Camille is confident she can fix like his image problem without needing like the entire summer. So they both are a little cocky that this will go faster than they think. So, and then once they get to the Davenport home in the Hamptons, we learn that Riker's mom had recently died. And what was interesting about this is that, like, it's one of the reasons we put it as a trigger warning is because it's not like something that happens in the book, but I feel like there's so much undercurrent of it in the book that if you are, like, as you mentioned, like potentially triggered by it, it's important to know.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, it's the first time he's been back to, like, their Hamptons house since her death. But he doesn't tell Camille that at all until like later in the book. But it explains like why he's had some out of character behavior recently. Because we all deal with grief very differently. And then he likes to bring up their night together. And Camille makes it very clear that she doesn't want to talk about it. And it meant nothing to her and would only complicate their situation. And she mentions it was a mistake. And I'm like, are we just like, we've dug a wound in Riker, and now we're pouring salt into the wound.
Like salt and like lemon and just like, let's make this vodka. The worst possible sting ever.
Exactly. And what's hilarious is it's all miscommunication. There's a ton of miscommunication in this book. And because both of them enjoyed that night, they wanted more. Camille is hurt by it, and so she pretends like it was nothing, which is just like her biggest defense mechanism in general. Which then like further hurts Riker's feelings because he really is like a vulnerable softie at heart. And so he's very hurt by it. And he's like not going to try and show that, you know, her saying it meant nothing hurt his feelings. But I don't think that's like, even if you didn't like someone, I don't feel like anyone wants to go, hi, I know we had sex, but it meant nothing to me. Like that's just not.
Nobody says that. Like,
you shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that. I mean, no, yeah. Please don't say that to people.
A respectable person says it.
Yes. As we tell our kids, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Or post it on the internet.
Or definitely don't post it on the internet. Yeah. So next, Camille wants to meet with Riker to go over the plan for the summer. She's all about the plan. She's like, we got a plan. Let's do it. Let's go. And he doesn't show up. He's trying to make it very clear, like, she's not the boss of him, even though he does feel guilty about it. He's just like, no. So instead, he heads over to the Pembroke Country Club. Hey, we know that place. And he runs into Jude. Love Jude so much.
Jude.
Heart Jude, I love you. And he just claims, like, oh, I'm just planning to lie low for the summer in the Hamptons, you know, that bad press, whatever. He's like, I just want to impress the future board and, like, the future board members who are coming here and, you know, hang out with them and, you know, everything be cool, be fine.
No big deal.
No big deal. But then Camille shows up because she's like, you do not walk away from me that easily and I know exactly where you're going to be. And she is pissed at him for missing the meeting. And so she literally just like waltzes in there, slams down her big binder, and joins Riker and Jude for dinner. And Jude is just loving this back and forth banter between the two of them. He's just like eating popcorn, like, this is great. This is amazing. Reminds us a lot of Lucy and Cal from In Good Company and how much Jude also loved to watch them argue. He's just like, this is great entertainment, you know? But ultimately, Jude does end up leaving the dinner and encourages Riker to listen to Camille. He's like, Von PR is the best of the best, and they'll be able to fix any of these problems that you have with the board. So you should really listen to her. Plus, she's hot. Like, there's worse people who could be, like, babysitting you, you know?
That was one thing I really loved, is I felt like all of the other male characters in this book would tell Riker, like, you're being an asshole to her, knock it off, and you should do what she says. Which is typically, like, not the reaction I would expect from most men, so I really loved it here. Yeah. Camille has my heart because she loves binders, and, like, she's probably a spreadsheet girl. She's got notes right here.
It's you all the way.
It's me all the way. And she has done her homework on Riker. and the Davenport board members, which seems to slightly impress Riker for a minute. And he was like, oh, huh. However, he believes that like he can just be himself and that will impress the board. Whereas like Camille disagrees, as do I. I feel like that was the typical like male response. Well, I'll just be my charming self and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let me know how that goes.
So how well is that going for you right now? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not well, right? That's why
Do you remember
I'm here.
the situation we're here? Yeah. Okay.
And then that's when Riker does finally share that his mother passed away 8 months ago and it's been rough for him since her death. And Camille is like, hold on a second. That wasn't on the internet.
She's like, let me check my notes.
Did not see that. Like, that is something pretty big that should have come up in our research. And that's because Riker's dad has had the news of her death scraped from the internet. And I was like, you must be really powerful to get that done. That's some effort. Yeah. And then later we see Camille's dad, Troy, call, and he wants an update on how the first day with Riker went. And she puts a positive spin on it. I feel like this is like, when people are like, how's that going? I'm like, it's fine. It went well.
It's great.
It's great. I mean, the room is on fire, but it's fine.
Not panicking. It's fine.
It's fine. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't help that her dad's like very confident for the most part that Riker will not be able to successfully convince the board he's ready to take over as CEO. In fact, he thinks Riker's a lost cause and no one will take Riker seriously. And I was just like, hold on a second. You've set your daughter up to fail? Like, that's what's happening here?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just rude.
Even if we take
he's just an asshole.
He's just an asshole. Like, even if we take the promotion out of it, I'm just like, that's what you believe and you gave this project to your daughter? Ugh.
Yeah.
So,
like, why waste my time?
Exactly. Camille tries to defend Riker, but like her dad refuses to listen to her. Not shocked, right? Mm-hmm. And then Camille starts to doubt whether or not her dad intends to make her partner. And I'm like, you should have been doubting that like your entire life, child. And it's really heartbreaking, I think, for her because she previously felt like before knowing that her dad thought Riker was a lost cause, that her dad thought she was good at her job. And this feels like that may not be the truth and he really only cares about getting paid. And so I was like, oh, so you are a super shitty leader and a super shitty father. Great. Cool. But I did love it when Camille was like, well, if he thinks this isn't going to work, I'm going to prove him wrong. And I was like, oh, sister, like that also. When someone tells me I can't do something, I'm like, oh, buckle up, buttercup, because
I'm going to double down right now.
I may not have cared about it before, but I do right now.
Yes. Also, what's kind of like a little bit hard for me to kind of like wrap my mind around on this is like she's 24 years old and she's expected to become partner at a PR firm. I'm like, you kind of like just graduated from college not too long ago. It feels.
But I also feel like that's a generation thing.
Yeah. Maybe.
I do think there's whether wrong or not, I do think there are generations that are younger than you and I that maybe have slightly unrealistic expectations about what a career ladder looks like. Not saying that I've managed these people or not before in my career. But the number of times I've heard, well, I'd like to do strategy. And I'm like, that's great. You could, but like, who's going to do the work? Well, other people.
Yeah. You are those other people.
You are the other people. I would love for you to do both. If you have strategy ideas, bring them. Let's talk about them. You can do that. And then you can do the work. But there is not, unless you're in a huge, huge company, there are very few people that sit around all day and just think.
Yeah. Very few.
Very
few. If you are not 24 years old.
No, you are not.
Freshly out of college. Like, I was just kind of like, this feels very unrealistic. You know, just saying, Camille, like, honey, I am all for you, like, sticking it to the man and like proving your worth. But I'm also like, why do you really think you're going to be a partner at 24 years old? That's just not going to happen. No. But you know what? Maybe she really is that good.
Maybe she is that good. And it's very possible that he's made a man partner at 24.
I mean, if that's the case, then fuck yeah, she should be partner too, because we gotta be equal. Either way, that was my only hiccup in this book where I was just like, this doesn't seem realistic.
See, and then
Just
I felt like it's not realistic, but it also felt like an accurate expectation of a 24-year-old.
I mean, true. Yes. Oh, it's very accurate in that sense. Yeah, but it's also like this is not going to happen. So on that part, I kind of sided with the dad. I was like, yeah, no, he's not going to make you partner. What are you talking about? What are you taking crazy pills? Like, no. Anyway, but Riker, who is in his 30s, he's 30. Also, is he really going to take over a multi-billion-dollar company? Like, how old is his dad? Probably in his 60s. He's probably still got some stuff, some years on him, maybe. I don't know. Even with that, I was questioning. I was like, oh, is this a stretch?
You'd be surprised.
I mean, yeah, possibly. Yeah. So, Riker then decides to be on his best behavior in public, which I'm like, that's a good start. You should definitely do that. You should not be going out and getting drunk all the time. Good plan so far. And he's like, all right, I'm going to impress the board. I'm going to annoy the shit out of Camille in private. So he's like, it's a win-win. It's going to be so much fun. And he's like, hopefully if I annoy her enough, she'll just give up on me and like leave the Hamptons. And then he's also determined now to like go back into Pembroke because he just can't stand having another planned meeting with her. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll join you. And he's like, no, you will not join me. You're going to leave me alone. He's like, back away, like trying to beat her off with a bat. Not really beating her with a bat, just, metaphorically. But then it's really funny when she does join him, and then Riker sees Jude flirting with her, and he's just like, don't you do that? Stop that. Stop flirting with her. I mean, I don't want her with me, but don't flirt with her, because that's going to piss me off.
Don't be nice to her.
Don't be nice to her. Like, it's not fun. Like, she's here to annoy me. Don't be nice. And he then obviously starts to notice how formal her communication is with her dad. And he'd been like, that's not how you talk to your dad. Like, that's weird. Like, he calls her and she's just like, okay. And he's like, that's strange. What's going on? And she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna lay down the truth for you, buddy. My dad thinks that you are a lost cause. And Riker's just like, fuck, that was hurtful. He's like, ouch, literally. And impacted by those words because he's just like kind of like doubtful for himself too, being like, shit, is that really how people see me? Like, am I that obvious? Like, I'm bad? And Camille's like, but you know what? I don't think you're a lost cause. We are going to turn this around. And she assures him that she believes that they can do this. And she's like, I'm on your team. Let's go. And he's like, all right, fine. Okay. Maybe she can help me, I guess. Like,
I'll tolerate you.
I'll tolerate you. Yeah. So then the next time that Ryker and Camille are at the club, he is spending the morning chatting up all the board members, and she is just kind of being entertained by Jude while she's also like watching Ryker. She's like, yeah, whatever you say, Jude. And Ryker, while he's talking to everybody, is like looking over and seeing her talking to Jude, and he's just like, yeah, man, yeah, board stuff, yeah. What is he doing talking to her? Yeah, board stuff. Is not thrilled. He's just like more focused on her than the actual conversation with the board members, which kind of is somewhat confusing for him because he's like, I don't like her around me. I don't like her constant presence. Like, she annoys the shit out of me. But now he's starting to fantasize about her every single night because he remembers that one night stand and how good it felt and how fun it was. And now he's getting jealous that she is giving attention to Jude. And he's like, I want that positive attention from her, that flirty attention. I don't want to be stuck here talking to board members.
Then stop poking the bear, Riker.
I know, right? It's like, stop pissing her off and maybe she'll be flirty.
I feel like Jude's whole role in this book and the previous book is to help the men, like, to get things moving along with the couple in the book faster. He was like, I will be tribute. I will sacrifice myself and flirt with Lucy. I will flirt with Camille to anger you and get you to make a move faster.
He's just like a little matchmaker, you know? He's just like,
take one for the team. Very helpful.
For the team. And he's handsome. And you're like,
I know.
Okay, sure.
Okay, please.
Hi, Jude. Hey, Jude. I like it.
So what does Riker do when he's irritated by Camille and her flirting with Jude while he's trying to talk to board members? He decides to disappear for the day to irritate the shit out of Camille more. Such a grown-up response.
Man-child at that point. You're like,
I know.
Oh, no wonder you need a babysitter.
This is like, you just proved my point, right? This is why I am here. So what was great about this is like he's gone for the day and finally like she's like I'm just going to the club. So she goes to the club. She ends up seeing him. He's having lunch with Beck. If you don't know Beck, he is from the Black Ties and White Lies series. And she interrupts their lunch and she starts asking Beck questions about how he was able to get approval from his board after some unflattering press. And she's hoping it will help Riker, right? So, and then he gets like a front row seat to the dysfunctional relationship between the two of them and ends up also calling out Riker for the bite in his tone towards Camille. Like, dude, this is not how we speak to people. Like, this is not how we speak to ladies, let alone people.
Yeah.
And then Riker continues to be snarky and ends up hurting Camille's feelings, and so she leaves the table. And then Beck even tries to convince him. So we've now had Jude trying to convince him to listen to Camille. Beck tries to convince him to listen to Camille. He's like, everyone in New York City talks about how great she is at her job. Like, doing what she says would benefit you. Also, you should probably go check on her. Like, I feel like it was one of those moments where he was like, asshole, you just probably made a woman cry. Go fix it. Yeah. But Beck's like a little bit nicer about that. So when she rushes out, she ends up going to like the staff women's locker room, which we know because we've read the previous book in the series that she runs into Lucy and Charlotte. And they assume she's babysitting a child because she's talking about like she's having problems.
Yes.
Nope, it's a grown man. And they have some really helpful suggestions. Like perhaps kicking Riker in the balls would be a good idea. And I was like, I could get on board with that. I could definitely get on board with that. But when they leave, Riker shows up in the women's locker room. This is like the first time he comes into like a bathroom-esque area. And he's like, yeah, Beck told me to check on you. And I was like, couldn't you have at least pretended to be a good guy for once and been like, I was worried about you. Are you okay? No, he's like, Beck made me come do it. It's like when you tell your kids to apologize and they're like, Mom's making me do this. I don't want to do this. And I'm just like, ugh. So that like further feeds into Camille's feelings about how Riker doesn't like her as a publicist and also like doesn't like her as a person since he bailed on her the night after they had sex. And I'm like, are we just like each of us are just pouring salt into the other's wounds?
Pretty much. And I'm just like, communication, people. This would have helped so many things from the get-go. So then next, Camille and Riker are boarding a yacht for a party. And I'm like, oh, it's casual. What's going on?
No big deal. It's private planes, yachts.
It's good.
Love it.
Must be nice. And Camille is slightly freaking out about it. And she's just like, yep, I'm going to go. Yep, I'm totally about to get on this boat. And like takes a step back. She's like, And he's like, you know what? Maybe you should just spend the day at the club instead. He's like, I'll be fine on my own. Like it's going to be great. But she does not take the bait. And she's like, nope, I'm coming. And Riker then just assumes out of that, like she just doesn't trust him. And now he's really pissed off at her. And he notices how she's struggling on the boat. And he's like, okay, maybe something is going on here. Maybe she's really not okay. And he brings her a little drink, the same order that she had from their little one night stand together. And she's like, damn it, this is a good drink. How did he know? How did he remember? And then we learn a little bit from Camille. She, just kind of announces to him a little secret that she can't swim. And that's why she is scared of being on the boat. Because she's like, if we crash or sink, like, I'm dead. This is not fun for me. And he's just like, okay, like, I'm sorry, like, I'll take care of you, like, I'll be nice to you. And then he kind of gets her a little tipsy accidentally and takes care of her, which is really kind. And then he, once they get off the boat, it's like, let's go get some food. You need to eat something. And then later, Riker and Camille start talking about his mom and how much that she would have loved Camille. And even though Camille insists that she doesn't always make the best first impressions, she's like, I don't know, like, I can definitely come across, like, prickly and, like, menacing with my stare, like, I have a resting bitch face, basically. And during this whole conversation, Riker's just like, would you just stop? Like, can you just take a compliment? Like, why are you being so defensive all the time? And it's hard because, like, she's trying to play it off as being shy. She's like, I just don't want to be vulnerable, like, with anyone. Like, I have to be on the defense all the time. And when you think about her dad, it's like, well, that makes sense, right? Yeah. Like, makes sense. And then we have a tiny little moment where they're like about to kiss. Like, they both really want to. And then she walks away. And you're like,
But
So close.
he has learned. He chases after her. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's about damn time. And
Oh.
he pushes her on how much she wants to kiss him, like when they're out by the pool, and she tries to lie to him about it. Been there, done that.
Been
When
there,
I
done
was way
that.
younger.
Yeah. Like, no, I don't want to kiss you.
Oh. And then he finally kisses her, and it's like, I loved how this was described, like one of those possessive kisses that brands you. And I was like, oh,
Ugh.
if you've been kissed
Mm-hmm.
properly, you know what we're talking about. And then it quickly turns into some heavy grinding,
Oh
followed
my.
by Riker finger fucking her, which gives her an orgasm. And then he gets off too in his pants. And then he's like slightly embarrassed by that, which I kind of get. So, but like also be a man, like grow the fuck up. So
Yeah.
he's like trying to get out of the room, and he's like, I should go. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, you should go. And I'm like,
Yeah. She's
you
like,
wanted to stay. She wanted, like, how do you expect someone to respond to, I should go? No woman is going to be like, but could you stay?
yeah.
Anyways.
Also, just
So,
like own up to it and be like, I'm so turned on by you, you made me come in my pants. So
like, that was hot. Yeah.
that was hot. Like, look what your effect is on me. Like, there's so many other ways he could have just like handled this situation.
Correct.
And her too, honestly.
I know. And it like just reinforces like what she already thinks, which is like and I think this is a very typical like response and challenge a lot of women have, is like, he got what he wanted from me sexually, and then he's gonna leave. So,
Okay.
so what does she decide to do? The complete opposite of what she's been doing all summer. She decides to ignore Riker all morning. He does not like that. And at Pembroke, she runs into Jude, who is excited about this charity golf tournament that we see. It was definitely a lot more prevalent in Good Company. And he's excited to spend the day with the girl of his dreams, which we know is Charlotte. And I literally was like, oh, finally, I cannot wait to read that book when it comes out next year. We have been in Kat Singleton, we have been waiting so patiently for Jude's book.
Me, Jude.
Give it to us next year.
Jude. Yes.
But really excited, especially because he refers to her as the girl of his dreams. Like,
he's just like
okay.
obsessed with her in the cutest
And I love
way.
it.
And I love it.
Yeah, in the cutest, sweetest way, not in the stalkerish way.
No, not in a stalker
No.
way. No. Cute way. So then Riker, kind of speaking of stalkerish, ends up following Camille into the bathroom. And he's like, you're not getting away from me that easily. And he's like, tries to talk to her about what happened last night. And he's like, he's been all up in his own head about it, wishing he hadn't left her room and told her how he feels. But Camille just pretends nothing happened. She's like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, it's no big deal. Like, whatever. She like literally reiterates how nothing can happen between them because she is his publicist. He is her client. No lines can be crossed. And I give it to him here. He really tries to be vulnerable. And like asking if her reaction is because he left and admitting that he shouldn't have left her. He's like, I'm sorry, I should not have done that. But she just doubles down and she's like, nope, you did the right thing. And she switches the bathroom conversation back to business. And we're like, come on, Camille. He's trying here. He really is.
Yeah.
And he just gets fed up and he storms out of the bathroom because he needs to put up some walls again before he can talk to her, which is never going to be good because his version of putting up walls means getting drunk off his ass. So he is drunk. Camille then has to escort him from the bar to the SUV, which was just hilarious to read, honestly, because she had to literally stop and just like think for a few minutes about how to drive. Because again, she's from New York, Manhattan. She's not used to doing it all the time. And he's like, what do you mean you can't drive a car? What? Huh? And she's like, shut up. And we do actually get a little bit of a serious conversation with drunk Riker, which is very interesting. They both talk about getting their father's approval. We're like, oh, serious time. Okay. And Riker shares that he wants to like himself again. And you're like, oh, honey. So he's just like got some depression issues going on here, mixed with like emotional stress and just like grief. And then Riker then also encourages Camille not to just like attach her worth to her asshole father. He's like, listen, you're better than this. Your dad, honestly, is probably only agreeing to make you partners so that you just stop asking. But he has no real intentions of ever actually doing it. And he's like, you're going to be waiting your entire life for his approval. Like, you're more than that. Like, don't do that. And it's probably a really common occurrence in the corporate world where like the goalpost for success, as we talked about, is just constantly like being moved. It's like you're constantly like gaslit in that way, or you're just like, oh, you got to keep doing this. You got to keep doing this. You got to keep doing this. And you're never actually going to get there and achieve it. And he's like, that's what your dad's doing to you. Don't you see that? And so it's like, even though it's a drunk realization, it's like a little bit of truth comes out of that, you know?
Yeah. So then it's time for the charity golf event. Ryker doesn't want to go because he's hungover, and Camille makes him play
Serves
stupid
him right,
games,
though.
win stupid prizes, right?
Yep.
It's your fault.
Exactly.
Then they go to Cal's for this pool party afterwards, and we've seen that also in Good Company. And Jude encourages Ryker to start being nice to Camille. This is like the third person that's like, you should be nice.
Also,
well, third time.
she like kicked ass in the golf tournament. She's
Yes.
really good. Like he was not expecting her to be that good, and everybody else is like, "Damn, like she's good." And they're like, "You should probably be nice to her. Like she's actually like
A good person. And
And
you're
a good
being a
golfer.
dick.
yeah, right."
So then Ryker does like what every middle schooler does and pushes Jude. He's like, well, do you like Camille? Do you? Do you like her like that?
Do you like her?
And I'm
like
like, right, yeah, like check yes or no.
Check
like-
yeah,
Silly Ryker. Jude flirts with like legitimately everyone.
yeah, right. Like he'll flirt
But
with a stick. Come on.
Exactly. But he only really likes Charlotte. And then Jude makes it clear, he's like, I don't like Camille. And then he's like, but you do. And then he gives Ryker, I think, some good advice, insisting like Camille looks at you all the time. Like she seems interested. And if she's pushing you away, then there's like a reason for it. And he was like, huh. I'm like, look at you. Like, Jude, you're like the little matchmaker savant over there. So I have high expectations for you in your book. So
Don't
the
fuck it
next-
up, Jude.
Exactly, Jude. Like you should be perfection for Charlotte. Okay, so then Camille wakes up extremely sick, and Riker's back in Manhattan for meetings with the board, and I've been there. Like when you're
there.
when you're so sick you can't get out of bed, you get your phone and then it like falls. I think it falls between like the nightstand and the bed, and you're like too sick to like get down there and get it.
You're like,
And so now she has like no
I'll get
communication.
it later.
I'll get it later.
Just 5 more minutes. I'll get it later.
But it's been like all day. And so Ryker ends up showing up because he's been calling and texting her all day without getting a response. And so then he like paid his pilot double to fly back to the Hamptons early to check on her. And as soon as he sees her, he goes into like caregiver mode and he starts taking care of her. He spends the night holding her. And this is like one of the few times in Camille's life that anyone else has ever taken care of her. She's always had to take care of herself. And then the next morning, which I thought was a little interesting, she kisses him. And I was like, you're sick, sweetheart.
You're sick. Don't. But even he was like,
Just
it's
like,
fine.
it's
I'm already
fine.
like susceptible.
I'm already in the
like,
bubble.
here.
Yeah, the sick bubble. And they end up showering together because she's too weak to do it alone. And it's really sweet. Like he washes her hair and then he's like, but they have to promise it's just a shower before they get in there. And then she asks him to kiss her like he never wants to let her go. And I was like, oh, I love this. And then like it's very, very clear that if she was not extremely sick, we would have gotten shower socks. And you know we love shower socks.
We love shower sex. I was really hoping for it. But even she was just like, I really wish I hadn't said that we wouldn't have sex in the shower because now I really want to. And she's like, I'm feeling better. I'm totally feeling better. It's like, are you though? Are you?
I know, but sometimes
Or is that the fever talking?
Which kind of fever, Megan?
Oh, yeah. My favorite fever. Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
All the ways. Anyway, 3 days later, things between Camille and Ryker are still going strongly. He doesn't get sick, by the way. So I'm like,
Yeah, good immune system.
good immune system. Mm-hmm. And he ends up talking more and more about his mom and like basically like his struggles with like trying to be perfect with everything, and that like when his mom died, he just no longer felt the need to be perfect
Mhm.
anymore. And he obviously made some mistakes, had some uncharacteristic behaviors, uh, like getting drunk and like spilling all the beans to a reporter. And it's evident for him that like his dad just doesn't like talking about his mom. And Riker basically has to be all alone with these feelings and he's struggling with it. He doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't talk to a therapist, doesn't talk to his friends. Like it's hard. And it's been a year.
Hard.
It's like a whole year of just like the grief sitting on you. Like that's
Yeah.
heavy. And honestly, for me, like that's when I kind of had a moment where I had to put the book down. I was crying a little bit and I was like, I feel this. This sucks.
Yeah.
It's my dad. Because, I mean, our readers don't really know this, but like my dad passed away in July. So that's been tough for me. So I feel Riker in this situation where you're just like, this is a hard thing to process and go through.
Mhm.
But then their conversation switches to their night together. And he admits, he's like, I've never felt a connection with anyone like this. Like it's it's so crazy. Like she is basically healing a small part of him, like just a little bit at a time. And Camille finally admits to feeling that same connection. And that's when the truth comes out about how Riker didn't really leave her that night and that instead he went to go get breakfast for them. Because apparently that's something that like on New Year's Day he used to do with his mom, like go get like this new like donut that came out. And he's like, I wanted to share that with you. And when he came back and like he saw Camille left, he was just like, he was just like so sad. He was like, I just assumed like I was never gonna see you again. Like I came back, I left a note and like explained everything. And she's like, I never saw it. I never saw this note. And she then confesses her fears about letting people in because like no one could ever love her or like her. Like that would just never happen. Because she's like, my own dad, like, I don't even think likes me. And like honestly, her dad has just done like a real big fucking number on her, like on her
Yeah.
self-esteem. And, she even kind of like confesses to him that like her mom had passed away. So like they kind of have a shared trauma bond over that.
Mhm.
And it's really sweet in this moment because Riker just like reiterates to her, like, you are likable. You are a lovable person. He's like, and I'll keep proving that, like, as long as you don't run away from me again. He's like, because he's like, I like you. And like liking you is the easiest thing he's ever done. He's like, I do like you. Like, you drive me crazy, but I like you. And Camille's like, yeah, okay, I'll admit it. I like you too. And then she makes it really clear what else she likes. She really wants to fuck him. And she's like, we should do this. We should do this. And she's like, I'm assuming you're going to be by my side in the morning. And then
Mhm.
we get 3 chapters of spice. And we're like, finally, the slowest burn of all time.
Yes.
Which is funny because it didn't start out that way, And then Riker goes down on Camille in the pool, which, oh, good Lord, that was great.
Right.
And then they have sex in their bed. And it's just like such a good time.
Finally.
Finally.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Next morning, we have some morning sex.
Mhm.
And then Camille goes to get them food, and she's like wearing only Riker's t-shirt. And guess who's in the kitchen? Riker's dad, Camille's dad.
Oh,
All I thought was I could just imagine like her facial reaction, like, quick, think of things. And then
what can I say?
What can I say? And then Riker calls out, wait, baby, not knowing their dads are there, which makes it obvious like there is something going on between the two of them. So there are no lies that can be told right now. And Camille's father, I thought he was an asshole prior to this point in the book. He up-leveled. He's pissed. He calls her a whore. And I was just like, I want to punch you in the face. Like, we don't speak to people that way, let alone like your daughter. Are you kidding me right now? And Riker has the exact same feelings that we do about this, which is like, you cannot speak to her that way. And he tells Troy not to. And Troy gives like 0 fucks about what Riker thinks. It turns out that Camille's dad and Riker's dad showed up because Riker has the board's approval. They were there to celebrate. And like, we couldn't have sent a text. We couldn't have given people a heads up. No. So Riker shares that he couldn't have done this without Camille's help. But then Troy responds, fucking you into being obedient doesn't count as doing her job. And I screamed out loud at the book. I was so angry because I'm just like, what? What is wrong with this man?
Seriously.
Oh. But then I love, because Riker really has stood up for Camille, right? And he threatens like to tell Troy, like, you'll never get another client if you talk to her like that again. And then Troy demands that Camille put on some clothes and leave with him, and she goes to pack. And I was like, hold on a sec. No, we don't go with asshole dad. So Riker follows her and he asks her to stay, which was like just so sweet. And he reiterates like how upset he is about how her father speaks to her. Because Camille has, I think, heard this for so long. Like, she probably deep down knows it's a problem, but it's kind of one of those things when you're in a really toxic relationship, sometimes, especially if it's with a parent, you don't realize it until someone else points it out. Right? Or
Like the
until something.
emotional abuse is so prevalent and strong, it just becomes the norm for you.
Yes. And I feel like that's where she's been. And she keeps making excuses for her dad. Like, he's mean when he's angry, but he'll calm down. It'll be fine. And I'm like, no, it will not. She's like, I just need to talk to him. And I do like this part though, because she does say like Riker, I'll come back once I handle things with my dad, but I have to go like get this man to calm down. Well, and then she mentions how they'll figure things out together. And so Riker makes her promise not to let her dad talk down to her again. And that nothing that happened between the two of them changes how great she is at her job. And I was just like, oh, he is like one of my favorite characters in any Kat Singleton book.
He's had such like a character growth in this book. Like he started out obviously like broken,
Yes.
after his mom's death and like what he did with the company and like he's pissed off about Camille, but like just like the development he's had in like the entire narrative of just like now I'm growing and like now I'm seeing the truth and like yes she is really good at her job and things that I'm doing better, and then like obviously like they finally come together and you're like
Yeah.
great, and then he's the one sticking up for her rather than like
Yeah.
Jude or Beck are sticking up for her. Like he grows, which like finally. And we learn that thankfully also Riker's dad is not an asshole. And
Thank God.
thank God. I'm like, okay, cool. He shares just how proud he is of Riker and how like he is so impressed with like everything he's done and how much like he impressed the board this summer. And then he even says like he's so proud of him, to the fact like your mom would be so proud of you. And you're like and his dad has kind of like a little like come to Jesus moment where he just admits, he's like, I know I have not been the best dad for you since your mom passed away. He was too consumed with his own grief. But he confesses that he's been seeing a therapist and suggests that maybe Riker could see one too. And it just feels like that process of healing for the two of them started with this conversation. And even Riker was like, I never would have thought in a million years that my dad would go see a therapist. And because he's strong enough to go do that, like, maybe I should. Maybe that would help me too. Such a great moment. Again, like
Yeah.
Riker has just like grown like exponentially, and I'm so proud of him. So great. I wanted to punch him at first, and now I want to hug him and love him. He's good. So then at the airport, Camille apologizes for like what happened with Riker, and she's like trying to like talk her dad down. She's like, I tried to remain professional with him, but like we had a history and things just kind of led one thing to another, and I couldn't control my feelings. And like this isn't like I'm gonna sleep with every client for the rest of my life. This was a one-time thing. But again, her dad doesn't see that. Her dad only sees it as she slept her way to success, and just diminishes all the hard work that she's done all summer long, which she's done a lot.
Yeah.
And she finally just kind of has enough and pushes him on when she'll become a partner. Again, we're kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did say that he would, he's like, okay, yeah, if you get this to happen, like you'll become a partner. But as expected, he refuses. He's like, why on earth would I promote you? He's like, I should fire you for what you did. And just refuses to promote her and is just talking down at her. And that's when she has her own come to Jesus moment and realizes she needs to stop trying to earn this man's respect and stop trying to impress him, because it's just never going to happen. And so, proud moment for her, she stands up and says, you know what? I quit. And walks out. Bye. And he's just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And she's like, I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with all this shit you're saying. Bye-bye. Proud of her.
I'm so
Drops
proud
the
of her
mic,
for that.
goes. Yeah.
So next, Riker's at the club and he tells Jude what happened. And Jude is like super excited for them. He's like, I'm a matchmaker. Like, I helped you guys get together. And I'm
God,
just,
Jude.
Jude, I love you. Like, I love you. And then Camille shows up and she tells him that she's falling in love with him. And he says the same. And I'm just like, oh. And then that quickly leads to a spicy scene in the country club because Ryker can't wait 10 minutes to get home.
Nope.
I was like,
Cannot
hot
wait.
damn. So he ends up finger fucking her, followed by her going down on him. And then they end up going home and having sex. But then we get a really sweet scene where Ryker asks Camille to be his girlfriend. And I was like, oh, I love that. And talks about how he can't wait to make plans with her for the rest of her life. And I was just like, you were healing all of her abandonment issues in such the most beautiful way. And then he encourages her to like open up her own PR firm, stay with him for the summer so she can make all these connections. Oh, I loved it.
Really good moves.
Really good moves.
So then we get the epilogue, and it's New Year's Day. So it's like a year from their first one night stand. And Ryker has a surprise for her in the living room. And it's a special little breakfast. Again, that tradition that he did with his mom. He went and got the donuts. And this year it's like a rosemary kind of a donut. And he's like, I'll admit it's not their best, but it's fine. It's tradition. It's fun. And at this point, we learn that Camille has opened up her own PR firm and is doing great. Good for her. And Ryker is now preparing to take over his dad's company in the next coming months. They've been living together ever since they finally confessed their feelings in the Hamptons. And then Riker's like, I was going to wait, but I can't wait. And he just gets down on one knee and proposes to Camille with his mother's ring.
I love that.
Oh, I love it so much. And I'm so happy for them.
I am too. It gave me very like Prince William, Kate vibes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So,
for sure.
Okay. In terms of hot and steamy, this felt like a 3,
Say a
3 and a half, 3. Okay.
That's solid 3. Solid 3.
Solid 3. Okay,
too much finger fucking and not enough real fucking.
I feel like that's always our response. We can always use more spice. No matter
Always
how
more
much
spice.
spice you give us, we're probably going to be like, could we have more?
Well, honestly, the next one that we're doing, I don't think there could be more spice. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
There's
More to
another
come.
book coming up that we're like, oh my. But this one's a 3.
This one's a 3. So chapter 25, we have Ryker. He finger fucks Camille.
Still pretty good though.
So I think it's the things that he says. Because
yes, he is a great dirty talker.
He's a great dirty talker, and he has a little bit of like kind of that like possessive, controlling tone, but not in like what you see in a lot of romanticity where it's like very aggressive. Because he's like, answer me, do you like this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Like, and then he, like, for instance, like this is one of my favorite lines of the entire book. For being so insistent that you don't like me, your pussy is absolutely soaked for me, princess. And I was like, okay, I see you.
Body truth.
You don't have to like me to come for me.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I think that's why, like, it, even though it was not like the spiciest scene in terms of like what they did, the things that he says, I understand why she was able to have an orgasm and he did too.
And honestly, like, if you picture it, it also was like super fucking hot. Like,
Yes.
she was wearing just like a t-shirt and like a thong. And like, he like pulled the shirt down so her like boobs are out and he's just like playing with them and like she's riding him. And so it's just like half on, half off and like all in. And you're just like, oh, uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
that'll do it for
allow
me.
it.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. It's so good. And then he comes in his pants. And I love that's so funny. So funny, but like also just like so good. You're like, he had a good time.
Well, and I think that's the thing is I feel like sometimes people think grinding is like, you know, like we've talked about this before, like middle school, high schoolish. And I'm like, yeah, but like I also feel like grinding is a very natural thing when people are getting together.
Yes. When you're like not ready to take that next step just yet, but you need something, some kind of
You need some friction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't underestimate grinding people. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then next we get chapter 39 where Ryker goes down on Camille in the pool and oh my God. Loved it. I was here for this. fuck yes. She even says, it feels too good. Camille pants. Her grip on my hair getting even tighter. It burns slightly and I fucking love it. Even as I try to keep her pinned in place with the hand not inside her, she still manages to buck her hips from pleasure. He says, of course it fucking does. No one eats your pussy better than me, right? I met her gaze, needing her to agree. Jealousy builds in my chest at the thought of any other man doing this. And after tonight, there will never be anyone but me. I'll make damn sure of it. And she just says, no one but you.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, this is, do you know what I mean? Like, he is so committed to, like, being with her.
He's possessive.
He's very possessive in, like, the best way possible. And that's the thing is, like, I think from a character perspective, like, he would have been this, like, super attentive, like, boyfriend if she wouldn't have left that morning after their one-night stand. Like, I feel like that's who he is at his core.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we get chapter 40, where we get to have, this is like a 3-chapter sex scene. One of the things we love.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps going. Great.
It's one of my favorite things about Kat Singleton books, because I do feel like she gives us multiple chapters of spice, like, in a row, and it's kind of like, oh, yes. Okay. So chapter 40, they're having sex. They're in their bed now, not in the pool. Just want to point that out.
He carries her up and just like, I don't give a shit that there's water everywhere. We're just
like
going
dripping.
Straight to the bed. I need you in a bed.
And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, she's dripping.
She's dripping.
He's dripping.
Like, they're fucking. And he says, I'm going to come, but not before I can get one more orgasm out of my girl. And I was just like, damn the mouth on you. Because, like, there's two things about that, right? He's calling her my girl, which, you know, we love things like that. But then also, like, thank you. You are a giver of orgasms. Like, yes. I love this for her. And for me to read.
Yeah, chapter 41, it just continues. Camille rides Ryker, just like cowboy up, baby. And I continue to take her in. This is his POV. Unable to resist thinking she's the most beautiful woman in the world, my gaze rakes over her, pausing for a moment when I see the red marks on her perfect tits. They're from me. I didn't even realize I'd left them, but on each breast there's the beginning of a hickey. I don't even know why it turns me on so much to leave a mark on her, but fuck, I love the sight of it for the rest of my life. I want to leave little love bites all over her body to claim her as mine.
Like,
yeah.
Can we, this is why I loved his character. I loved Cal from In Good Company, but when, like, this book, I was like, oh no, I'm a Ryker girl.
Oh my, Ryker.
Right?
I can't wait for Jude. I feel like
I know,
Jude
I can't.
I think he's also going to have a really dirty mouth.
I think he's going to ruin all of us.
I think he's going to ruin all of us.
In the best way.
Yes. And then we get one more. We get chapter 48 where Ryker finger fucks Camille. And then she goes down on him at Pembroke, which is really fun. So, remember to be quiet, I tell him. Wrapping my fingers around the base of him, I don't give him time to respond before I'm wrapping my lips around him. He lets out a growl as I move up and down his length, making sure to keep my tongue flat as I try to fit as much of him in my mouth as possible. And then at the end, Ryker shakes his head. Fuck, baby, that was. I'm not sure you did a very well job at being quiet, I point out, standing up. He says, with your mouth around my cock like that, it's impossible for me to be quiet. That was so fucking hot, princess. And she just says, good.
Oh,
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved it. Okay.
Pretty good.
In terms of what's next, if you enjoyed this book, we think you'll also love, we've mentioned this, the entire Black Ties and White Lies series by Kat Singleton. If you haven't read it, you definitely should. You'll meet some of the characters that are mentioned in this series, specifically Beck, Margot, Winnie, Archer, Preston, and Emma. Happy to chat in the DMs about who our favorites are. And then the emotional character development of Camille reminded us a lot of Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. And then it felt I got a lot of variation vibes by Rebecca Yarros too. It was another book that I was like, if you like this one, you probably would like that one too.
And then obviously we have to check out whenever Jude's book comes out. So
Next year.
next year, that is on the list. And then here it comes. Join us next week when we dive into the world of romantasy and discuss The Primal of Blood and Bone. We cannot wait. By Jennifer Armentrout. It's possible it's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be a long one. That's what she said. And then we will also be back on October 29th with the contemporary romance Pucking Around by Emily Rath, which, I mean, okay. Pucking Around is not pucking around. It is fucking amazing. It is so spicy. We might need to have a whole new spice level on our spice ratings. It's just, it will blow you away. It will make you clutch your pearls. Be prepared. And happy reading.
Happy reading. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.